I'm going to start the recording. Hey, everybody, welcome to Wednesday night AO Scan. Tonight we got a special one. I'm going to go through what I do when I go through people's reports and how I make the custom playlist that is best for that person, is the best we can do. And a lot of it is done by the AO Scan, so it's not stuff that we have to. I'd like to show you how that works. So we're going to get right into it. Dave and Margot Long were nice enough to let me use their account. So I'm going to show you. Let me see. I think I have it on this one, but hang on a second. Let me just make sure I have the right. There we go. That's why.
Pop off some chickens.
Yeah.
There we go. And
You want to look at it as she does it, and I'll just.
Tish, where do I find mute all?
You go down to participants,
Uh-huh.
bottom of participants, there's a little thing that says mute.
Must be something in my settings where I can't do it. So if you
Make me co-host and I can do, I can only mute myself, but if you make me co-host, I can mute everybody.
there you go. Thank
All
you.
right. Now at the bottom, I see mute all. Done. I'll let them unmute themselves if they want. Oh, you're muted also now.
Well, no, I'm
can't-
not. All
Yeah,
right.
you are.
How's that?
Yeah, better.
All right. So just so everybody knows, I'm not a medical professional. Anybody here is not a medical professional. We're sharing experiences, helping each other get well. And we're going to get right into it. So this is, I haven't even taken a look at this. This is what Dave's report. Margot did the scans on him this morning, and I'm going to go through what I do when I go through a report. So I believe Margot did the easy scan, and if that's not what you did, Margot, just let me know. But when you do the easy scan, it does the quick scan, the inner voice, the vitals, and the comprehensive, all with one push of the button. So you don't have to push the button 5 times. You don't have to babysit it. It used to be that we had to push scan and then optimize, but now with the easy scan, it just does it all for us. So I'm going to go into the scans individually because that's where we get the most information. When we look at it in the easy scan, it's a condensed form, and it doesn't really give us all the information that the larger reports do. So when I go into the inner voice and open it up, it's only showing me the tones, and I could listen to my balancing harmonics here, but I'm not looking at the report yet until I push on this button that says reports. So this beginning part is the same on every report. It's just about the AO scan. It's not until we get down to this first emotional, this versus that. They're going to be different every time you do a scan. Maybe you'll see some of the same, but that's really not, we're not getting down into it until we get down into this part of the report. So it's showing you possible emotions, possible vitals, potential causes. And what I like to look for is things that show up often. So I'm already going to take note. I should have a fresh page. And this is what I just have a notebook, and every time I go over a scan, I'm taking notes. So I'm taking notes here. What it's seeing on this first emotions is ALP and AST, and we know that to be liver. So I'm just going to write down liver. And then does mention digestion. What I look for is things that are mentioned over and over. So I scan over these things, CHCl, pre-meal digestive enzymes, chiropractic adjustments. Then we see improve digestion, hydration, eliminate food sensitivities, stress, toxicities, and chiropractic. So I see a couple of mentions of chiropractic there. We have 4 reports. So I'm going to go down to the next one. We're going to see what we see that may be repeating. So we see eliminate mold exposure, which can be past or present. If we've still got mold inside the body, it's going to call that a mold exposure too. So we see collagen being mentioned here, and hydration again, and magnesium. I just talked to somebody who is taking magnesium, and magnesium comes up on their scans. It can be that the type of magnesium that you're taking is not the right kind, but I see hydration a lot. Now that can be you're taking plenty of water, but your body's not accepting it. So exercise, and we see trace minerals there. Let's go down to the next one. And this is my favorite part. This is where I concentrate on when I'm going here. If I see something else that, like I'm writing down trace minerals because that's definitely something I've seen more than once. The HCl we've seen more than once. We're going to look for that in the vitals. Stress. Something else we can write down. Trace minerals again, twice in one report. And we have one more report here. HCl comes up again, chiropractic adjustment, increased trace minerals again. Improved sleep, toxicities again, increased minerals. So, you know, it may say something different, increased trace minerals, but it basically means the same thing. Immune system, and it mentions the mold again. So, and the 2 trace minerals I see here are copper and selenium, just to take note. So then that's all I do with someone's inner voice. The only important thing that someone, if you're not going to go through the reports like this is the most important thing in the inner voice. If you're listening to your inner voice every day, it's attempting to balance everything it found in this report. And really, if you do that every day, you're going to get a lot of improvement just from that. So the next thing I go into is the vitals. Not sure why it wants me to refresh my sign in, but we're going to do that. All right. So I do use the enhanced reports. The basic reports, or whatever they call classic reports, I think they call them, only show red, the colors. But when they added these numbers, when we have a high number, it means we have increasing inflammation, and it's probably acute. So something that's more recent. When we have the lower numbers, it's diminishing function, and it's probably more chronic. That's not always the case, but it's something to keep in mind when we see those numbers. Definitely the higher numbers are increasing inflammation. Definitely the lower numbers are diminishing function. But sometimes the acute and chronic will go and bounce between. So I have seen an iodine deficiency. Some days it's a 1, some days it's a 9, but it's an acute deficiency. I've seen that happen often when I'm noting things that are coming up in scans. Sometimes they're bouncing between 1s and 9s. So it's causing low functioning, it's causing inflammation. It's something that's definitely out of balance on whatever is out of balance, but it doesn't always stay 1 or 9. So that's something to note also. With foods, if something stays out of balance on the left and it's also out of balance on the right, then it's something to take note of. And if it stays out of balance and you're eating it, it can mean that you should eliminate it from your diet and see what happens. it can also mean that you have leaky gut. So if you're seeing a lot of the foods that you're eating every day show up, then I would suspect leaky gut. I also see many times something that shows up doesn't always mean that you should eliminate it from your diet. If you're not eating it, it can mean that you need it. One example I give a lot and I see a lot is in the spice category, many times black walnut and cloves will come up and that person will have a lot of parasites. So it can mean that the body is calling for something also. And the way we can figure that out is by changing our diet and eliminating things and also scanning things into the scanner to see if they come up as something that we need.
Yeah, Connie raised her hand if you get a break.
Yeah, go ahead, Connie.
At the top of this list, you had some categories up here, the red, yellow. So is that particular to David Long, or I mean, are those always the same like that?
Yeah, these are Dave's. This is Dave's scan from this morning.
So that top bar across it's not just a generic bar, it's
This one here, the one with
Yeah.
all the numbers there,
right.
that's like the key on how to read it. So we want to be right here in the 5, and when we're out in the reds and the oranges, then things are out of balance.
So that has nothing to do with the person's test.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
This is the
You're
key.
welcome. All right. So we do see that a lot of things in the dairy were out of balance for Dave, and then many of them came back. So what we're looking at is the things on the right are the scan in the beginning, and then the scan sends optimizing frequencies. And what we see on the left is where we are after those optimizing frequencies were sent. So there's much more in the right column than there is in the left column, and that's what we want to see. So again, we see a lot of things balancing out here. Lemon stayed out, and a few other things stayed out. I would watch those things, and if there's something you're eating, then, or if there's something Dave's eating, then I would try eliminating them if they continue to show up. So
Okay,
plum is something
Just
that
a little
stayed
note,
then.
Connie asked, the balancing harmonics will differ each time you run the scan. So do you scan every day and play the harmonics every day?
I do. I scan every day, every morning and every night, and I listen to my harmonics morning and night.
Heather,
Yeah.
on there, all those dairy things, this is what confuses me because I'm still learning a lot. But he's dairy free. He doesn't, so could it be that it's telling him he needs dairy when we're dairy free?
I wouldn't think so, not on dairy. I would stay dairy free because Dave has a mucus problem, right? So we don't want to
Yeah.
add in dairy because dairy is going to add to that. I would
A
say
lot of
it's not
stuff-
saying that he's sensitive because he ate something. It can be that he's sensitive and he needs to keep it out. And I would think that would be the case in that.
Yeah, that's on a lot of them we're seeing it's coming up like, that his numbers are high and he doesn't take it at all. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I think if you're not eating it and it's coming up, for the most part, I would keep it out, especially if it's coming like how about these fruits? The ones that are coming up, does he have lemon in something?
Nope,
Grapefruit, plum?
nope,
All
nope.
right. Yeah. I would try, I mean, if you have any lemon, grapefruit, peach, plum, I would try scanning that in and see if it comes up, scanning it in as a food, make a food category in the supplements and see if it comes up that he needs it.
I know he can't have anything, any grapefruit, grapeseed extract or any of that because he's on new DEXA and you're not supposed to
Okay.
have that. So
Yeah.
that's why I was curious why it just kept coming up, because he can't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. If that's the case, it may just be because he is sensitive to it because of the medication he's taking. Because it doesn't
okay.
mix with it. So it could just be saying, yeah, stay away from the grapefruit. You shouldn't have grapefruit right now. Stay away from lemon, plums. But with some of them, you could like a plum, that's nothing. Actually, plum and pomegranate, I thought that was the same. They're not on the same thing. So I would just watch these. The grapefruit, I definitely stay. I mean, you can't add it in if he can't have it with his medication anyway. So
Yeah,
I would stay away from it.
okay.
The food sensitivities, if they're red and red, I'd pay attention to them. But if they're red or orange over here and they balance out, not really much to do there. Because they're balancing out with the frequencies. Black tea. Cilantro could be something to do with metals, but let's see what happens in the metals. Garlic is a good detoxer for mold. I don't know how many know that, but Alicinium and garlic are a good detoxer for mold. So that may be something that's being called for. But this balanced out, I mean, if they're patterns, so if you see carrots day after day, or you see potatoes day after day, then I would take note of it and try experimenting with your food. And I'll give an example that I give a lot. I was coming up for blueberries day after day, but I was putting them in my smoothie from a frozen concoction. And when those frozen blueberries were gone, I stopped eating blueberries and they came off my scan. So I decided to try fresh organic blueberries, and blueberries didn't come back on my scan. But then a few months later, I decided to try blueberries in my smoothie again from a frozen blueberry. And guess what started coming up on my
taking
scan
care of
again?
mom. She says, "Mom."
So it was the frozen blueberry. So sometimes it can be the form of food that you're taking.
Yeah, Heather, can you just go back a second? I was looking at zucchini, and like, just stop right there. Stop. Zucchini is a 1, and spinach is a 9. So does that mean that zucchini you want more of, and spinach you've got too much of? I'm trying to figure out the difference between the 1s and the 9s when
Nope.
they're out.
I've heard say on the food sensitivities, if we can just look at these as reds and oranges and ignore the 1s and the 9, because they do go back and forth. So when there is a food sensitivity, some days it'll come up a 1, some days it'll come up a 9, sometimes, but I would say no, that's not, you can't read it like that.
Okay.
But I would say with all of these, they came back closer to balanced. So they're not something I would even put on the radar, because the 9s moved to 7s, the 8s
Because they
moved to
corrected. Okay.
6s, right? So if we see things correcting, it's not something even to put on the radar.
Okay.
So we're seeing a lot of imbalances here, but with the optimizing frequencies, things are coming back on the left. RDW, red cell distribution. So something to take a look at. It'll come up in the comprehensive too, but in the human cell, we should see more of this. So we do have this MCH didn't balance out either. So a few things going on in the blood, but just something I take note of, but it's not, none of these things are like, we can't look at this like a blood test where we're either in range or out of range, but we can look at it as there's something going on in the blood, and we can send frequencies to balance that out or to help balance that out. So I'm going to show you that in a little while. So here, the root chakra, I always go down here and take note of what is the root chakra? Because the root chakra wound up on the left out of balance. The other ones, there were some that were on the right out of balance, and actually the solar plexus also on the left. So we just want to take note of what areas that is, so that when we're looking at our frequencies, we can look at things to help with that. So stomach problems, liver disorders, there's other things there, but those are the most common ones. This one can be obesity or anorexia, so it's kind of like your weight in either direction, but immune system, which already came up on one thing. So I don't think I have that down.
Connie, you want to ask your question?
The yoga body look is new to me. And so I thought that was a part of the body, like number 8 on the bottom in red. What, and there's an underline, so what above it is just explaining what that's supposed to be.
The root,
You have to look at the line, so that that's the
Yeah.
root chakra. So number
Yeah.
8 and 6 at the bottom
Okay.
goes to the root. And then the next one up goes to the sacral on the right. And it's, you have
Okay.
to follow the line because it's very confusing. You have to look at the line connected to the numbers.
actually,
I'm
this one's the solar
too.
plexus. Yeah, the
Right, so
sacral is
the-
the next one up, but the solar plexus is the one that's out.
The solar plexus is the third one up, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
Okay,
the
thank
fourth
you.
one up is gonna be the yam?
I'm sorry. No. That's the heart chakra.
Heart chakra, thank you. So then
Yeah.
but then the next one, yeah, the heart chakra, then the
There we go.
throat chakra, then
Yeah.
the third eye, and then the crown. So it's just very, it's a little hard to read, but you have to follow the lines.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
And the chakras are what I have found, if someone's energy is not improving with the scans, if we run the chakra frequencies on that person, then we can get their energy moving in the correct direction. So hopefully we don't see that in Dave, but if we do, even on a couple, we can correct that. So we see something here in the bladder and the triple warmer, and then these other ones corrected. So this was the stomach, the small intestine, and the liver, and the governing vessel all corrected. But we can take a look at what's going on in the bladder and the triple warmer. Now, these are acupuncture meridians. So if you, we used acupuncture a lot. So we'll say the bladder. Is that what we said? The bladder and the governing, right? Oh no, the triple warmer. So the bladder is of course going to be the bladder, reproductive, lower, I don't even know what that is. We'd have to Google it, but eye, sinus, and bladder, spinal, sciatus, and headaches. And then these are emotional things that can be causing it. And then we've got the triple warmer, which is endocrine, hormonal balance, autonomic. Oh, metabolic rate, thermostat in the brain, digestive, pelvis, reproductive again. So here, small intestine peristalsis is that things aren't moving as quickly as they could through the small intestine, but that got a little bit better. Got some inflammation here on the right, also got better there. This one here, no extra information. So a lot of times when you want extra information on something, you can click on it and get some extra information. If you don't get extra information here, I go straight to a search engine if I want to know more about something.
Yeah, just Google it. And then the
Mhm.
other thing too, just to keep in mind, if anybody is kind of overwhelmed with this, it doesn't matter. The point is that if you do this twice a day, I mean, ideally you want to scan, by the way, Heather, you'll be proud of me. The last 2 days I've scanned twice a day.
Woo!
I'm improving. So the idea is that it corrects and it corrects over time. And so you don't really need to get too crazy with this. It's just that it'll give you some indications of some things. It just, I think it helps your intuition a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I have liver issues and my liver constantly is out. It corrects it and then it's out again the next day. It corrects it, it's out again the next day. And I know that I have it. I know I have some liver issues. So it keeps coming up. So that's like liver and thyroid are my big things. And, but I like the fact that it's correcting it. So we'll see how long it takes if it stops coming up red.
Yeah. So magnesium, I just talked to somebody today about this also. Magnesium is a really tough one to supplement. When my son was having seizures, we found out that if we gave him the right kind of magnesium, the seizures would stop. So we tried many magnesiums before we found a couple that worked. Magnesium oil was a good one, but when we used it, it burned. So we were able to do Epsom salt foot baths with him. And Dr. Cowden suggests just taking cloths and dipping them in Epsom salt with water and then putting that on the thighs, and that can help with magnesium absorption. So that would be a good way to get magnesium in and continue the oral supplements too, but to bring in that Epsom salt soak of the thighs is a good thing. So
And he
this,
says, while your feet are in the water, you want your feet in the water and the thighs at the
Yeah.
same time.
yeah. And you know, I don't think you can overdo magnesium, but you can definitely underdo it. So some bone mineral, some cranial nerves that all came back, which is a good thing. And you know, with the more scanning that you can do, the more you can keep things in balance. The balancing, optimizing frequencies that it sends, there's 120,000 frequencies that have been cataloged that are optimal health frequencies, and that's what the scanner does. So when it sees something out of balance, it's sending the optimal one for that frequency and trying to bring you back in. So
Margot, how many times are you scanning? Is Dave getting scanned? How many times a day?
Well, you want now, right? Not when we were bad previously. He scans twice a day now
Okay, for how long has he been doing that?
for, what do you think, Dave? About almost 2 weeks. About almost 2 weeks.
Okay,
And
okay.
he does listen to all the tones,
good.
and
Okay.
we have started imprinting things they say he needs that we don't have.
Good.
Okay, fantastic. So, because I think you're going to notice a difference over time.
Yeah. So this thyroid, I just took note of the thyroid because we have a lot out of balance on the thyroid. A lot of it came back, but I just wrote down thyroid. So this is how I take my notes. All right, so we're gonna look here. I kind of skipped over the trees and the grass because you can't do much about trees and grass. If you know that you have that kind of tree or grass in your house or you're coming into contact with it, then I would do something about it. But allergies to that are kind of like, yeah, who cares? But we've got Borrelia that's coming up. We've got a few other bacteria things that did not balance out. But I'm definitely gonna, Borrelia is Lyme.
You know,
And
it's funny, those two grasses, because we have, we're on a farm, and our hayfield has those two grasses in it, but Dave has not been going outside very often because it's yucky here. It snowed today, but and we released out the farm, so he's not haying anymore. But that is two grasses that are in our fields.
yeah, so he may have just developed a sensitivity to those grasses. So I would keep an eye if those two grasses keep showing up. It may be a location effect thing where where you are with those grasses is not a good thing when he's outside. I would say inside right now, you're fine. You have the high text going and that's going to take care of the grasses inside, but it is showing he has a sensitivity to those two grasses.
Okay.
I wanted to point out too here that Borrelia burgdorferi is the Lyme disease that they test for in the United States. The test for Lyme disease is only a 50-50 shot. If you have Lyme disease, maybe you'll get a positive, maybe you'll get a negative, and you can still have Lyme disease with a negative test. But this Borrelia other, this is not tested for in the United States, and it's still just as harmful as the other Borrelia. So
He has two, I don't have the report with me, I didn't think to look at it. He was just recently tested through the naturopathic doctor, and he does have two different lines. And I think Borrelia is the 2. So it
Okay.
did show that.
great. Yeah, so did it say Borrelia burgdorferi, or because it does say here that he's got another kind of Lyme. It does say it's a little bit out of balance on the burgdorferi, but this one's a little bit more.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to say too about like food sensitivities and grass sensitivities and all these things, as you detox, once you get the toxins out, you just get less and less and less sensitive to all these things as you're healing. So we've had a lot of people that were used to be super sensitive to like all these different things. And as they detox, as they heal, you know, they're just not issues anymore. So just,
True.
I just don't want everybody to get frustrated because, oh yeah, I'm sensitive to everything, but as you heal, you will get less sensitive.
Yeah,
I
True.
think that's just a really important point.
very little on the left side down here in fungus and human toxins. You know, you see some on the right, but what we really want to look at is after the optimizing frequencies, lot balanced out.
Okay, Constance asked, I'm so new to this. Is this a remote scan that is done on the phone or tablet? Do you scan your body with it? So can you just explain that really quickly?
Yeah, you can do the scans remotely. You can also have your own scanner, and I find that is the best way to do it. You're going to be more accurate when you're doing your own scans, and plus you're going to be able to use it whenever you want. So symptoms may come up, you can do a scan, see what the scanner says you need. What I'm doing here is what I do on people's scans that like I do 6 to 8 scans a day, and I go through the scans for people and then show them what's wrong. And then what I'm going to show you in the end is how to send frequencies specific to what we found. So I'm taking notes, and then there's detox frequencies and support frequencies that we can make a custom playlist and send them. But you're going to get, even if you never do any of this and you only do the scan and then listen to the music it makes, it's doing that in the background. So this is just an extra, here's some extra frequencies that we can target and things that we can keep an eye on. So yeah, I totally understand. If you're brand new to it, Tish, can you put my email in the box, and I can help anybody who's brand new to it. This may be a little bit too much.
Yeah, exactly. So just, yeah, this is, I think the big thing is to get Heather, and you can either email Heather or text me, and either one of us can scan, or Dawn as well at Gmail.
So selenium was something that came up, Margot, already. So I don't know if you have a selenium, but that's one of the trace minerals, right? So we're going to add some trace minerals when we send frequencies.
Yeah,
So
David takes the, what is it, the Aussie trace minerals?
okay.
When after we
Yeah.
want the water, we add it to it. So that's, he has that for sure every day.
All right. So there definitely are some parasites that are showing up on the left. But we'll see what comes up. Bunches of viruses over here, but much less over here. So I'm going to look at the Easy Scan itself. And because this is where you're gonna see the supplements that come up as suggestions. So you'll see for Dave, they're all imprintable. So are you imprinting those into water, Margot?
I have, and a question I was gonna ask, like, these ones are new ones I hadn't seen. And would you recommend imprinting them, all of them, even though we don't know what they are, what they do, just do it?
Yes, there's only one detox there and the rest of them are homeopathics. I can send you a spreadsheet so you can look these up if you want to.
I
But
think
what
you
I would
did send
do-
me a spreadsheet. You did send me some spreadsheets. They were really good, and I want to print them out. One of them won't print out at all. But the other one I was able to print out.
So I use them as a on the computer so I can search for things. And then there's a description of each one of these frequencies and what it does.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's what you sent me.
I can send you it again. So if I
Okay.
didn't, then I'll send it to you today. But
Mm.
this psychosis detox, that's usually a miasm. So it's not something that people today get. It's people have had it in the past. So someone in his ancestry had this psychosis, and that's a detox for that. The one thing I do warn with detoxes is when Dawn was doing the detoxes from the supplement suggestions, she was getting detox reactions. So sometimes it's good to take those detoxes and put them in with a bunch of support, which is what I'm going to show today. So you could take note of all these, and then you could put them in a broadcast. And then you could broadcast it for 20 seconds. You can broadcast it for 2 minutes. And if he's doing well with it, you could do 2 minutes several times a day. So it all, and if there's one custom playlist over another that works out well. But this is another way I take note of what is suggested here. And I like to put those in a playlist. So I'm going to take a note here. Connie's got her hand up again. Go ahead, Connie.
So if you hit the imprint button, orange one, what happens?
Put your water on top of your device, just like this. So this is my device. I usually have it on the table, but I just take my water, put it right on top, press imprint, and the frequencies go right into the water. So you can just drink your remedies.
So you place your water where you can still hit the orange button on your phone.
Yeah, and if you hold the phone sideways, it will come up in the horizontal view, and usually you can get to that imprint button a little bit better.
Okay, thanks.
And Epic Hawana. One that I
Heather
see.
Constant asked, can you explain inputting? Did you get that one? Just explain what
Yeah,
really quickly.
so I'm gonna press this and you're gonna see what happens. So when we put the water on top of here, the frequencies play for a short 3 to 5 second clip. You guys probably can't hear the frequencies, but I can on this side. And then that just goes right into the water that you put on top. You can also put jewelry on top of that. So if you didn't want to, or if someone couldn't drink water, or if you didn't want to drink water, you can, or if you wanted to keep the frequencies for longer, I take my rings off and scan frequencies into my rings at least once a week. There's bracelets that you can scan frequencies into. There's all kinds of ways to keep the frequencies longer. These are Cepheid dots. They're small patches that you can scan frequencies into, and then you can put those on your body. There's a way to show exactly where those should be. The scanner will do that. Hopefully that. So the other scan that the Easy Scan does is the comprehensive. And Margo, you must be signed in because it keeps kicking me out, but that's all right. Because it
And
only
I
takes
said,
me.
I was thinking the same thing with you. You must be I have to keep re-signing in too.
So the comprehensive scan, it can scan for a lot more than it does scan for. Usually it just, what it does is it takes the inner voice scan, the vital scan, and then it decides from those two scans what would be best to scan for here. So you can see that there's a lot of things that it didn't scan for, but these are the things that Dave needed most. So it does have human cell, which I'm glad of. Today we're not doing mitochondria, but some of the other things that we saw, thyroid, urinary, we're going to see those in here. So I'm going to go into the reports, if it lets me. There we go. When you get into the comprehensive report, it always starts with the image report. I hate this way of looking at it, so I switch it over to the table. It's much easier and it's much the same as the vitals. So the numbers are going to be the same. The difference here is we get to see in a whole category where we were and where we wound up. So I mentioned earlier that sometimes when the chakras aren't in balance, that things move in the wrong direction. If we see more than 2 or 3 categories moving in the wrong direction, it's good to balance out those chakras with a custom playlist. So I'm going to get that going. And if Margot doesn't already have the custom playlists. Have you made any custom playlists, Margot?
We did a couple of them with you one night on a Zoom meeting.
I think we did do the chakras one time. I think, yeah, okay. So you'll see on the human cell, it started out 43% from ideal, but after optimization, it was 27% from ideal. So that's a big improvement. So that one's moving in the right direction. Digestive, 34 to 30. What I look for here is things that are 50% from ideal or around that, and I take note of them. And if things aren't balancing out and they're close to that, I'll take note of that too. So we're going to kind of go through this kind of quickly. Pancreas went from 42 to 29, another great improvement. Some improvement here. Liver detail started out 57, so we're definitely going to write down the liver detail. And then thyroid, that was something that was out of balance on the vitals and also moved in the wrong direction here. Respiratory, some great improvement there, 44 to 28. Prostate, 37 to 30, that's great too. Stomach, not much of an improvement there. So something that also came up on both of the meridians that were out and the chakras, stomach was a part of that. So we can definitely run some chakras to balance that out. Urinary moved a little bit in the wrong direction. Cerebral cortex, high. So the reason I take note of these is because if they stay higher, we can send frequencies specific to that. And a lot of times we'll see the reproductive when someone's chronically ill, that just shuts down because we don't need it. Connective tissue in the spine, move from 40 to 35, that's a good movement. Left knee, again, moving great in the right direction. Right knee, same thing. So a little bit on the pelvis, didn't move in the right direction, but nothing too crazy. Left eye, right eye, get some movement. Head. Torso. Now, if you wanted to look at any of the things that are out of balance here, it will show a picture, probably not on a lymph node. Yeah, so that's the lymphatic in the head. So maybe not in that, but in something like, it may have kicked me out again.
I'm not in it.
Are you not? All
Uh-uh.
right. All right, so what we're gonna do is one of my favorite parts, I think, let's see, yeah, we made a chakra one, we made a mucus-free one, and we made a chem detox with support. Now I'm gonna show you, we're gonna do one, I usually name them with a date if I'm doing it from the scans. So what we can do in each category, oops, forgot to show you that, hang on. We're gonna go into each category separately. So we're in Cephi. I wanna show you where we are. We're in Cephi. Here's the custom playlist, but here are all the categories. Each one of these has, you know, between 20 and 200 different frequencies. So instead of trying to guess what the body needs, we've got Dave up here as a target. We're gonna go into each category and we're gonna scan for the best one in that category. So in this category, determination is what comes up. So this takes the guesswork out. And I can't remember who I was on the phone with today, who prosperity came up for them. And they said, that's really not important to me. And I said, you know what? That came up when I was scanning my dog also. And I kind of thought the same thing. How can that be important to a dog? But my dog has food issues where he feels like when he doesn't have food, he doesn't have enough. And maybe that's what it was. So I really don't question. It may not, when something like that comes up, it may not have anything to do with what you're thinking of. But with these frequencies, I like to just go with what comes up. So we're in this category. And you can see all the things that are here. I'm just going to press the scan button again and get my suggestion. And we've got allergy vaccination. So I'm going to just use the back button here. Now, Quantum Reach has a scan, Quantum Frequency does not. Quantum Affirmations is the one I just did. Quantum Flowers is the Bach flowers, if anyone's ever heard of those. They're to help with emotion. And it's another one we can scan. So it'll tell us the top emotion plus the flower that helps it. So impatience. Again, I'm just going to use the back button. And we're going to go down to the quantum chakras. Again, we can use the scan in here. And the heart chakra is what comes up. But we had the root chakra, which I'm going to put in there. And the other one was the solar plexus. And that has, both of those have to do with the stomach, which came up. So again, the back button. Now, in homeopathics, we can search if we know the name of a homeopathic, or we can search by symptom. Is there something that's bothering Dave today?
It's always his mucus, but you did the mucus one.
Yeah, we have a specific one for that.
What are you thinking, Dave? He has, which eye is that? Your right eye?
Is it okay to do like all of them, or is that like too much, or do you just pick one or two categories?
A custom playlist can have up to 15. So I like to try and put 15 in them.
Oh, really? Okay, so that's not
I'm
too
going to
much.
show you. So I put in mucus and lungs and sinus infections both come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that one for sinus infections, and I'm going to show. So these are all the homeopathic remedies that are good for sinus infections. and we're gonna press scan and see what the best one for Dave would be. Once I press scan, these are gonna reorder. So right now we have Cali Bicromium on top, and once I press scan, the top one's gonna be the one that Dave needs most. So it stays the Cali Bicromium. So we're gonna put that one in there. Anything else you want me to search for?
Well, Dave's having issues with his right eye. And it's actually his bottom eyelid, but anyway, it's his right eye.
It's not a sty, is it?
No, it's not. I thought it was, but when you pull down the eye, like when I put drops in, it's just bright red, and it's getting a little better putting the eye drops in, but it's just different.
So
Yeah.
you put red eye, like it's red or headache?
Yeah, but it's not like pink eye or anything like that, because it's not his eye, it's the eyelid, the bottom
Yeah.
eyelid.
Is it,
It's weird.
is it causing a headache?
No, and it doesn't itch or anything.
Hmm.
It's weird. He doesn't do
Yeah.
anything normal, we gotta search.
Yeah. Well, let's try this. We got red eye here, and we can see what the top one is and see that allium, which allium, I'd have to look it up to be sure, because at first I was thinking alicinium, but we can look that up. But if the body doesn't need a frequency, it's not going to take it. So where this is the top one in a list of 5 that have to do, or 10 that have to do with the eye, let's leave it as that, and we'll see if that helps. All right, so these ones here are the detox and the support, and there isn't a scan button here. So I'm going to go back to the custom playlist. I don't think that I saved that one, so I'm going to name it again. And we're going to go in and we're going to pick the ones that it had. So we have determination. And then allergy vaccination. And then for quantum flowers, we have impatience. And then the chakras, we're going to do the root, the solar plexus, and the heart. And then for quantum homeopathics, we have Cali, Bicromium, and Alimium. So they're in alphabetical order. There's the Allium Cepa. JK, up a little. Cali, Bicromium. All right. Oh, and then we had these ones over here. So we had the Hippie. So there it is. Ipecacuanha. And we could do the carbo vegetal. I want to be able to put in a detox though. So if we go into the inner homeoenergetics, so the thing that I noticed was a lot of parasites. So I'm going to put in the Verma Plus is the parasite one. And then trace minerals came up a lot on the on today's scan. So I'm going to put in the trace minerals. And it's always good to do ultimate emotions. But adrenal and thyroid support there was a lot going on in the adrenals and the thyroids. So those are the ones that I would choose out of that. Now, the one thing that didn't have a scan is this one here, the quantum frequency. There's a lot of detail here. But they're a different kind of frequency, different from the homeopathics or the other ones. So I like to look through here for, like, I thought the thing that was most out of balance was the thyroid. So I like to look through here. I think we'll find something. So we got thyroid issues. And then we can look up here and see if we see anything to do with the eye here also. So look at all the different, we've got eye inflammation. Not even sure what that is. If anybody knows, clue us in. Let's see, degeneration. How about eyelid droop now?
No.
Not really droop, right?
No, no, because I have to pull it down to see the red.
How about eyelid swelling?
Is it
Yeah.
swelling? I don't see it swelling. Oh, I don't know. At first we thought it was a sty. I don't know, you put it there in case it is, but it doesn't look like it. And styes usually itch or,
They do,
yeah, and it doesn't.
huh? Well, let's try that. And then I'm pretty sure we're gonna be at our, once you're at your 15, yeah, I just tried to click on something else. Once you're at your 15, you can't add anymore. So we go up here and we push save. And then that's gonna be in your
Does it
library.
say, yeah, okay, now that says just Dave 3823. Does it have to say for eyes or something, or just to
Nope,
name it? It's just a date that's gonna be the name?
yeah, this is gonna be in your scanner.
Uh-huh,
So yeah, you would just come here and pick this one. You can change it, you can edit it and change the name if you want to change it to something else that's better for you.
okay. What is it all doing? What are we pinpointing?
So everything that came up, we're just trying to balance him out, everything that came up in our scans. That's what I was trying to show, is that I go through the scans and I find what the scans are saying, and then I come in here and I make a playlist for what I found. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then now how long would you use that? How would you know that you need to stop using that and create another one? Or do you just use that all the time? Also,
If you feel like he's still got the eye thing going on, I mean, I come back in here and I pick different ones. Like for Dave, I would actually tonight, I would run the full chakra on him. I would run that for 2 minutes,
Okay.
simultaneous. And then I would come back and I would run this one. And I
Okay.
would run that for 2 minutes. Do it for a couple
Heather,
of
just
days.
to let you know, we're getting close to the hour and there's some people asking some very, very basic questions. So just,
Okay,
that they're coming to find out the basics, and we kind of, this is sort of an advanced thing. So I just want to cover the basics. So finish up this about the 2-minute thing and then,
so I could run this right now because the frequencies run, they go at the speed of light. So Dave's gonna get them whether I run him from here or you run him from where you are. But I'd rather you run him from where you are, because I'd have to mute if I was gonna run him from right here. So
Okay.
later on tonight, run this one, do the 2-minute broadcast. If he feels better from it, run it again tomorrow, run it a couple of times. And what I would do here too, I always have one of these and I don't see one. Does Dave ever have trouble sleeping?
You have trouble sleeping? Sometimes, but not often.
Yeah. So I would make one, I'm just gonna make a quick one. Oh. But there's a bunch of sleep ones. So we could put in sleep. We could pick other ones that are sleep. Tish, why don't you go ahead and ask some of the questions? If they're basic, I can do two things at once.
Yeah, okay, so Marge is just basic information. Probably the best thing to either is email to Heather. As far as just to give you a background, but the basic idea of the AO scanner, and if you listen to, Scott's gonna work on the recordings. We did a Sunday recording, but that's probably the best thing to do is to wait till tomorrow. And if you haven't seen the Sunday recording from last Sunday, go to healingals.org or healingals.com and look at the Sunday recording. So that should be up by sometime tomorrow, and that'll give you a basically overview of the frequencies. But the idea is that this little machine, it's like in a cell phone. It used to be a $38,000 machine, and now they have it into a $500 cell phone, which is really cool. And you can, it reads frequencies in your body and it gives frequencies in your body. So that's the basic. And if you want either Heather or I to scan you, you can either email heatherplood@gmail.com or text me, which is text Tish 5823194 to get a scan. And Dawn, we can also Dawn can probably run a scan on you as well. So just Dawn, I have to ask you about that. But right now, do this. And then the other question is, so would you would address with supplements or remedies only when things didn't improve with frequency? That's a really good question. So if it doesn't improve with frequency or improves just a little, but again, I would do it over time. I would see what doesn't improve. If you run it for a week, you're running it twice a day for a week, and then you're noticing it didn't improve. That's when you really want to look at supplementing for that thing. Look for another way, because once you break that, I think, if you loosen it, shake it up a little bit, then the frequencies may be able to improve it.
And they do say that 3 to 5 scans, the scanner learns you a little bit better and starts doing it. So that's why I was really excited when Margot said that we could do Dave's, because I know she's been scanning Dave for a while. So we're going to have somebody that the scanner knows. If it's a first scan, a lot of times I do go over these with someone as a first scan, but it's better to have at least 2 to 3 scans to compare and to have the numbers come down. Because that first scan, when I remember when I scanned myself the first time, the things that were out of balance, there were so many of them. It's like, oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna get to the bottom of this? But as you scan, things start dropping off and there's less and less things on there. And those are the things that we want to go back and address with some kind of a natural treatment. Put something, we can even scan in supplements that we don't have yet, and say, do I need to buy this? So if there's something that, like, let's say thyroid is coming up and you know a few natural thyroid things that you're thinking of getting, put those into the scanner and see.
So
if
how do
one
you
of them
put them in
comes
the
up.
scanner if you don't have them? Because it's really easy
Just
to
don't-
scan the ones that you have, but what about the ones that you don't have?
Yeah, so if someone has put them in, which they say that the probability is very good that someone's put them in somewhere, you can just put the name of it, be as specific as you can, put the name and the brand, the dosage, and then just don't scan it. So you're just going to have it in there. And then if it comes up as something that's suggested, you can go out and buy it. I know people who've
great.
done it with different kinds of iodine, different kinds of many supplements, just to see which one should I buy.
Okay. Yeah, and then also to explain, before I get to Connie's question, also explain the difference between the supplements and then the frequencies that you could put in the Cepheid dots, because there's a difference.
Yeah, so physical supplements we need to take. Is that what you're talking about? And then
Yeah,
there's,
so when you take a supplement, others you can do the Cepheid dots, and you can, or you can imprint jewelry or whatever else you
right.
want to do.
Right, so the frequencies that come loaded in the AO scanner can be imprinted either into water or homeopathic pills or jewelry. or even food. But regular supplements don't come with an imprint. So when you put in your own supplements, they won't have an imprint. You do need to take them.
You just take them, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and also you can scan in, I didn't know this, I just learned this today, you just, that you can actually type in the brand and what it is and find out if it, and put it in and see if it does come up as a suggestion.
Yeah, and
That's a
something
cool idea.
I've just learned about this week is the scanning in of food. People are making a category food and they're saying, you know, do I need lion's mane mushroom? Do I need chaga? Do I need what? And putting the foods in there as another supplement category that you can look and see. And that's, I mean, if you've got a food sensitivity there and you're trying to figure out whether it's something that you need more of or you don't need it all, it's a great way to figure that one out.
Okay, so Connie has a question. Do we need to clear energy for other family members?
That's a great question. So I'm gonna just share my screen for another minute because I do want to show how to do that. And yes, I try and clear, and so in here in quick scan, it's just a quick push of a button. You can push this clearing and then shielding in between scans. You can also clear the cache in your browser. So you're going to clear the history. And if anybody has any trouble doing that, it's really simple. There's a few different videos that show how to do it, but it's something that should be done at least. I mean, it depends on how many scans you're doing. I try and do it 1 or 2 times a day, but I do a lot of scans. So if you're just scanning the same people, maybe 1 or 2 times a week, do the clearing of the history and then shut the phone down, turn it back on. Just makes things more accurate.
Okay. Connie also, if you subscribe for $150 a month, can you unsubscribe at any moment? The answer is yes, you can unsubscribe. So if you want to do it a month and you want to take a month off, you may take a month off and pick it up whenever you want.
Yeah, you could take a couple of weeks off and then, you know, yeah, so it doesn't have to be a full month. You don't have to start back up again on
That's
your
right.
anniversary or anything.
Yep.
You can pause it or stop it at any time. No obligation. Were there any more?
Just the so where do you where do you get the supplements that are recommended? So that's, you either have the supplements or you put them in. Is that the correct answer for that question?
Right, so if I do a scan for you, my supplements are in there, so you're gonna get my suggested supplements. I'll help you and tell you what they are. But when you have your own scanner, you're gonna scan in your own supplements that you already have and supplements that you're interested in taking. So you're, I mean, yeah, you're gonna get them from what you have. And except for the ones that are come loaded in the machine, and those ones are frequencies that you can imprint. So those ones everybody will have that has a subscription.
Yeah, and I love like the fact that there's so many that come loaded, like the Bach flower remedies and all the, you don't have to buy those Bach flower remedies.
Right.
Those frequencies are there already, you can use them. So there's a lot of things that are loaded that you can use. Connie, you will have your hand raised.
Yes, sorry, I've got a little bit interrupted here. I don't know if you mentioned my question asking about the cell phone. Did you mention that one?
No.
The other day when she did the presentation, she talked about, Heather talked about that.
Oh,
if
yes,
use
you
the
mentioned,
cell
thanks you,
phone-
Connie, I missed it. The other apps on the cell phone can disturb the accuracy of the frequency. So you could use a device dedicated to the fan. Can it be just another cell phone or do you use this special one?
The thing about the Uli phone that it's on is it's a very low EMF one.
Yeah, so it's
And-
this one and it's low EMF. And it's specifically, I think it's specifically made for it and there's nothing else on it. So that's another thing, but I wonder if I'd like, if it's an iPhone, I wouldn't even touch it because the iPhone is such a mess. It's got so much stuff on it. If it's an Android, I don't know, but they did specifically pick this one for a reason.
Yeah, but there are plenty of people that are using it without getting the device and
Yep.
they're getting good results. So I would say if you don't want to get a device and you just want to use the subscription, do it that way. If you feel like you need some more accuracy, you can buy bone conducting headphones. Those do come when you buy a device, you get bone conducting headphones. So that's going to improve the accuracy too. When you're doing it yourself, like when I'm at home, I put bone conducting headphones on, but not everybody I'm scanning is going to have bone conducting headphones. So when we do remote scans, we don't do that at all. But that's going to improve the accuracy. So if you can plug that into your phone, that's going to improve the accuracy. If you listen to the tones with, like, a lot of times I'll send someone an email, I'll say there's good, better, and best, right? So you can listen to the tones and not even put in headphones. I know for a lot of people with ALS, it's very difficult to put the headphones into the device and to switch between headphones, or that's just too difficult. Dawn said she started getting better results because she was using it more when she just forgot about the headphones completely. So even when she's
Yeah, and
listening
that's
to
what I've been doing too, because it's like, I have no patience for the headphones.
Yeah.
So I was not doing it because I was worried about the headphones. I'm now doing it because I'm
So-
not using it. So even
so
though
it's
it's less
better-
accurate,
Yeah, so you're using
at
it.
least I'm
So that-
using it.
Right. But I mean, if we use earbuds, that's a little bit better. But I just bought noise canceling headphones. That's the best way to do it. You know, so there's good, better, and best. And if, as long as you're using the scanner, it's gonna optimize you. You never have to look at those reports. If you
Yep.
listen to the inner voice, that's even better. If you can make a playlist once in a while, you find one that you like, that is really helping you. I'll give the example when we were down in Texas and I was sitting next to someone who has ALS who said his biggest symptom was pain in his legs. And I did a scan on him, did what I did just here and found all the things and then made a playlist. And some of those things I put in the playlist were pain-free and things to help with inflammation that we were seeing in his scans. And he leaned over to me and he said, Heather, ever since you did that scan, I have no pain in my legs. He goes, that never happens. So I ran it for him for the next day. And then when he went home, he's in Colorado, I'm in Florida. I said, can you do me a favor? I want to send you those same frequencies and I want to see how you feel. I just want to see if it's going to work over a 2,000 mile span, right? And he said, yeah. He said, as soon as I sent those frequencies, the pain went away. So the frequencies work.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Another question, and I know the answer to this one, can imprint be done with one cell phone? Absolutely, yes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether you're on the any cell phone, whether you're running on the cell phone or the specific, this is just a cell phone. It's just a cell phone that's been optimized and they literally took everything out of it. So it's more accurate, but your cell phone will still absolutely work.
Yeah.
And you're saying 85 to 90% as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they say with the device, we're up close to 95% accuracy. So if you're going to use a cell phone instead of the device, you might lose 10 to 15% off of that, but it's still going to be super accurate. And you're
Yeah.
going to get a lot of great results with it.
Okay. Yeah. So just Marilyn, just to be really sure on this, you don't imprint the supplements. The imprint is for, actually you said you can imprint food, you can imprint water, you can imprint, but you don't need, I wouldn't imprint supplements. I mean, you could theoretically, it wouldn't be different from food, but I would imprint something more innocuous than a supplement.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
They
when it
sell blank
mentions-
sugar pills that are like the homeopathic pills that you would get. And you can erase and you can re-imprint them. So that's something you can do too.
Yeah. So they come these little pellets,
Right.
and you can order the pellets, which I like. When it mentions the colors, it means they recommend you wear or use those colors that day.
Yep.
Like a rainbow, is that correct?
Yeah, so colors correspond with frequencies. So when they suggest colors, they do, you can wear colored glasses, and that will accelerate the healing. It'll help with the healing. You can also put on that color for the day. So if red and orange are the colors that come up, wear those colors. Or when you're out, if you know your colors are red and orange, let's stick with that. Notice red and orange everywhere. Just have your brain, oh, there's some red. Yep, that's my color today. So whatever it is you can do with that color. It's not necessary that you get the colored glasses. I do use them once in a while. I use them a lot more when I first got my scanner. But I do use them still.
Okay, when doing the scan, does any noise in the room have any effects on the scan?
I don't like to have the TV going when I'm doing my voice, but after the voice is done, you can do the scan with whatever. I don't pay, it'll still run and it'll still be accurate.
And Marilyn, yes, the bone conducting headphones are included with the purchase of the phone and the tablet. They come with each, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And that's the last question. Yay.
Woohoo! Oh, Connie's got her hand up. One
Okay.
more.
Just a question about the colors. Usually there's about 4 different colors in
Yeah.
a scan. So you would choose whatever color you might want to tag or something like that?
So when I'm using my colored glasses, I will play the music individually and switch glasses. Either that, the one that has the bigger button is the lowest frequency. So the scanner tries to balance out the 3 highest and the 1 lowest. And they say that the one that's the lowest is the most important. So that would be the one I would choose if I were to only choose one.
Okay. Hopefully
my-
this is helpful. This is a process, and I think the more you use it, the easier it becomes. So like I'm still using it at the very simplest level. There's no way I'm ready to do a custom playlist, but give me another month or so and maybe I'll be ready to do a custom playlist. But right now it's like I'm just using it on like the simplest level. And I do think it's making a difference now that I'm using it twice a day, which I wasn't before. So I do think it's making a difference.
Yeah.
It's kind
Good.
of exciting, actually. Like
Yeah.
it sounds crazy, but like more energy. There's a couple things I'm not going to say anything yet because I'm thinking I don't want to jinx it.
Well, the point
But
is,
you
we all
said
want to get
over a
better
month, and
every
I
day.
believe you, Heather. I mean, you were saying, you looked at yourself at this point when you started, before you started, then a month later, then 2 months later, and you really felt like a significant improvement. And I'm looking at you also, even now compared to a year ago, you just look a heck of a lot better. Now, granted, you're living in Florida and not New York, so I don't know, but-
That right there, that's enough. Yeah.
but
No,
yeah, but you had
everyday
said
improvement.
before you tell everybody before we get off, tell everybody the story that got you in this, because you were in a very bad way when you started using this.
Yeah, I got bit by 3 ticks, not last summer, but the summer before. So coming into the fall, and I have had Lyme disease and co-infections in the past that put me out of commission, and I didn't want to go there, and I was afraid that that was where I was heading. So I called up the person that I used to do Zytoscans with, and Zytoscan is another kind of biofrequency. And when I first started doing scans with him 12 years ago, it was $100 every time I did a scan. And I called up for an appointment and it was $250. And I was a little put off by that because the last time I did a scan with him, it wasn't the 20-page report I used to get, it was a 3-page report. So not only are the prices going up, but the information I was getting was going down. So I wasn't too pleased and I didn't schedule a report, and I started looking for biofrequency that I could use on my own. And that was how I found the AO scan. And I did a free scan The free scan that I was offered was just the inner voice. I thought I was gonna get the whole thing, and I was really disappointed that I only got the inner voice, but it made me buy the scanner right away because I wanted to see the whole thing. I do the whole scan for everybody. I'll go through and I'll do every scan. I'll go through it. I'll do videos for you, or I'll get on a Zoom with you. I want you to see what this does. I want you to see the power of it, and I want you to want it. Maybe that's not the right way to sell the most, but I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to show you that this is something that can help you. If you believe in it, then get it for yourself. If you don't believe in it, then move on and do something else. I'd love to help you if you do decide to do it. I really do believe that this is the future of medicine, and that it's the most helpful thing I've found in the 12 years that I have been doing holistic and natural things for my health.
Okay, great. And Heather's email is right there if you want to see it. And I'm doing scans too. I'm getting better at them. I'm doing several a day as well. So, either contact Heather for a scan. You can also text me. If I can't do something, Heather helps me. So it all works out. But yeah, just if you want to scan, get a scan, because I think I did 3 of them today. And I did the whole thing. We did the comprehensive, the vitals, we did everything, and the voice. So so
Fantastic.
if you want a free scan, contact us, because we'll just give you a scan. I've been doing scans over 3 days, because that way people get the pattern.
That's
So,
awesome.
okay.
All
Are we
righty.
all set?
Good night,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay, good night, everyone. Bye. We're gonna meet again next week, right? Same time, same place, same bat
Same time,
channel.
yes. Same time, same place, same bat
Teach,
channel.
I sent you a WhatsApp, Teach.
What was that,
Okay.
Connie?
I was
Yes.
telling Teach that I sent her a WhatsApp.
Okay, perfect. I got
All
it.
right.
Okay,
Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Night.
thank you.
bye.